Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumble through! Fumbling through, fumbling through. Fumbling through, fumbling through.
Fumbling through! Bow down, bookworms and bibliophiles, and welcome to Fumble Through!
Fumble Through!
A podcast that just invented the word plagiarism. So, fill up your inkwells, dunk your quills, and buckle up your scrolls as together we make up stories about imaginary characters and let dice decide how we improvise their actions. Speaking of people who always like to dunk their quills...
I do like to dunk my quill.
Who doesn't?
Follow us Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Henry Cavill, where are you?
We've got some quills.
Yeah.
When you say dunk your quills, are you talking Guardians of the Galaxy?
Peter
the
Quill?
toy Peter Quill dunking you into a... Like, is it a painting?
No, I'll talk about sex.
Baby.
I don't get the reference.
It's a euphemism.
Just the disapproving look on Justin's face then was like, enough.
Enough talk about sex.
Baby.
Baby.
Anyway, I'm sorry, I haven't got a thing prepared today for Henry Cavill because I thought we'd better tone it down a bit to say, like, Henry, come play some games.
Yeah, we don't want to seem too needy, do
Yeah.
we? We want
No,
to
I'm
play,
gonna play
now
cool.
we're going to try and play hard to get,
Yeah.
are we? Okay, right.
Yeah, we're going to go be like, we're just going to be cool and, you know.
Yeah.
How are you married?
Yeah, back it off, play cool, give him the cold shoulder. Let's do some gaslighting and see how far we go. We'll neg him a little bit. Like, he's not cool enough to be on this show.
I'm going to back off for about 20, 30 years and see how that goes.
Yeah.
And then-
Meanwhile, don't we have like a buy me a coffee and stuff? Like,
We
I know
do.
your whole new thing's all Henry Cavill, but we also have like websites and Facebooks and,
Yes,
and
but
Instagram.
I'm working on the I'm working on the for the buy me coffee. I'm working on the stretch goals, so I want to make sure I have them all locked down before I pump that too
What
hard.
sort of stretch goals might we have?
You know,
I think that's why he's waiting
Well-
before he starts recording them on the podcast.
I'm going to have a kid soon, so I'm like, I don't want to go.
That's
hey,
not a stretch goal. No.
No.
Yeah, well, have my child.
no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Just
saying-
don't be like, what's a stretch goal? I'm having a baby. Yeah.
That's a stretch mark, my friend.
I'm saying I don't want to go, hey, if you donate us this amount of money, we're going to start another show just before I have another kid.
No, but
What you're saying is buy as many coffees as you can so I can afford to have another kid.
But what we do need to know is that we still need dice. My dice aren't rolling great. I think Luke's bought another set of dice recently.
Yes,
like
I
you
have. They're
rocked
looking
in
beautiful,
today
yeah,
with
yeah.
a new set of
I
dice.
did indeed.
What are they?
Well, they're actually the D&D. Just grab the box. The Witchlight Carnival set.
They are pretty.
Shouldn't they be mine then?
Yeah,
Or is that your,
I bought them because I like the orange. I
Yeah,
like
they are
and
an orange.
purple.
What color are the purple?
Purple, yeah, numbers, and they got this lovely little glitter to them as well.
They
not-
are
it's not-
very pretty.
Really orange, though. It's more orange, isn't it?
Orange?
Yeah.
No, that's
So-
what people put on before they go out night clubbing.
Rouge.
No, the self
Fake
tan.
tan.
Oh, right. Orange. No, I'm with you. Yeah,
I
sorry.
think Trump's a version of orange.
Yeah. Can I say to those people out there, while Justin and Luke are talking about buying dice, that's the reason why we need money for our end of month tax return. End of year tax return is in 2 months' time. We've got some lawyer fees and some renewals of some back end properties. They keep spending all the, not properties as in places to live, but
as
you
in
know,
website
We
costs?
Websites.
have, we have bills that we
domains.
keep spending all our money on dice.
The dice don't-
Apparently, that's not part of what we're supposed to do.
tax deductible, but not useful to pay off some other people.
Yeah, and look, Luke's discovered that in the box there's other stuff, and he can't now control himself as he's looking at.
Anyway, as Brett's trying to say, we're paying for this podcast out of our own pockets, but it would be nice to have you guys pay for some of it.
Look, anything that you can do to assist us with this is always good. You know, it's if you can show your appreciation for this product we give you each and every week, we would appreciate it.
Luke didn't hear any of that. He was looking
Yeah,
at
so
cards.
Again, no,
And
yeah.
then-
just finding ways to spend more of Lindsay's money. That's what
And
I'm
then,
doing.
yes, we can spend more money from our pockets on cool stuff like T-shirts or, you know,
We can finally put some merch out for you
Yeah.
people.
I'm really looking forward to getting those hot pockets up and out of my garage.
All 600 of them.
There's not 600 left anymore, Justin. It's been a while.
Wait, that was an April Fool's joke. How are you? Where did you get the Hot Pockets from?
Lindsay said Hot Pockets on Facebook. I went, oh shit, must have missed a memo and ordered a whole bunch of Hot Pockets because we need to put a merch line
They're
out.
very cold pockets now.
By midday that day, I had a lot of Hot Pockets in my house.
Tepid pockets. Then they became cold pockets. Now they're mold pockets.
Nice.
It's like,
That almost turned into a rap.
Oh, is that Eminem? Is that Dido again?
if we're harking back, Mold Pockets, what we call your asshole.
Hey, I thought that was the blue whale.
The blue oyster.
Hey. No, I thought blue whales were called blue whales because they swore all the time. They're like, don't you say that to me. Blue whale.
No,
I get it.
No.
It's because they swim deep in the ocean. It's cold.
The lips go blue.
Shouldn't they be shrunken whales then?
I thought it's because I never got to have sex.
Blue whales. There is such a thing as a blue bean.
Female equivalent.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is. Legit. Yeah.
I was in the room when he researched that. So, just a few days ago, we all experienced that grueling tradition that is the 1st of April, or it's otherwise known April's Fool's Day. So did you know that in 2004, people thought that was actually an April Fool prank when Google announced Gmail? Everyone was like, nah, that's not real. What a prank. I thought that was a really nice bit of tidbit. Yes, I am trying to teach you guys something. Today, I want to combine the idea of April Fools and the dicey question by asking, what is a great April Fool's joke that you can think of?
Oh, what?
Well, I think I just did one because, as I said, you guys obviously all follow our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So you would have seen our new merch line that we announced for Flopsy brand Hot Pockets. That was an April Fool's joke. So sorry for
you
all those
serious?
people that pre-ordered.
Bitterly
Wait.
disappointed.
Yeah, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
I'm leaving.
Sorry.
This is bullshit.
What am I going to do with 20,000 Hot Pockets, Lindsay?
I did think your order was excessive, Brett. Anyone got a good April Fool's joke?
I'm not sure that I do.
No, or
You
a
saying that wasn't
D&D
good?
based April Fool's? Oh no, well that was good, but I meant one that you're making up here at the table.
Okay, I'll put a think on it.
I used to enjoy walking into work and changing the letters on people's keyboards, just popping the letter off and physically changing it. So people who couldn't touch type would be going, I'm hitting a D, but it's a Y. Why is that? But that was a fun one.
Quit D.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We used to, when I worked in a customer services department one time, it was email and correspondence driven rather than phone. We used to do this thing where you could, I don't know if I got the right terminology for this, Lindsay, so correct me if I'm wrong. You could hack into or slave that person's computer. So you could type and it would appear on their screen as they're typing their letters. And you would just sit there and just randomly hit S every couple of seconds. And they would lose their shit because obviously they'd have to keep going back and edit in the letter. That was good fun. We had lots of laughs with that.
I have a pretty good one. This is probably my favorite that I've ever done. Is I had a friend in a cubicle near me that hated Nickelback with a passion.
Mm-hmm. The paddle pop line.
And so what we did is we got a phone and programmed all the numbers that we had, like mobiles, desk phones, into it with different Nickelback songs. And then I pulled apart the desk partition and hid the phone in behind the desk partition, put it back. And then we'd just spend all day, anyone that could see him, ringing him randomly throughout the day. So different Nickelback songs would play. And it took him weeks and he was dismantling, like pulling everything out of his drawers, trying to find this phone. And we only got caught because the phone died. So I had to get it out to recharge it. That's when he came in.
That's pretty funny.
Yeah.
Is this how you remind him of what he really is?
I doubt he listens to my podcast.
Oh, no, that's a
Nickelback song.
That's
Oh,
a
right.
See, unlike Eminem, I know
don't-
Nickelback. I only
I
know
don't know
shit
Nickelback.
songs.
Got it.
Yeah.
You
Got it.
only know shit songs?
Well, yeah.
Apart from Dido.
Well, yeah. That was in a period of my life that I was probably listening to other things. I was cooler back then, and I probably was actually listening to like Real Big Fish or
I love Real
the
Big
Bloodhound
Fish.
Gang or something like that back
What's
in
Real
those
Big Fish?
days.
They're a good band.
Are they?
Yeah, ska
Australian?
band.
Is it an Australian band, is it?
No,
No?
no,
No?
no. Very
Are
American.
they not?
Very
American?
American.
Because I've
Real-
seen them here so many
real big
times.
fish.
Yeah, they used to come around for not Falls Festival. What was the skate one? Anyway,
That will make sense because the first time I saw them was in a skate park.
Real
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
fish.
yeah,
Okay.
I can't remember what that festival
Wow.
used to
Need to
be,
look up.
but yeah, they used to come out. There used to be all those ska bands would be together.
In a similar vein for April Fools, you know when you type in your phone, you're doing a message and you type OMW and it says on my way and those kinds of things. You can set those up. You can automate those. So in my wife's phone,
My wife.
I changed Brett to Lord of My Pants. So she would text her friends and all of a sudden she'll type in, I'm going to go home. Brett's calling me. The Lord of My Pants is calling me. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
Yeah.
They
Nice.
seem to be a lot of computer based. Like the best April jokes I've ever played on people are like things where you press the button, get rid of all. You take a screenshot of their desktop, and then you press the button to get rid of all the icons. So when they're clicking on the icons, it's just a picture and it doesn't go through. Or God forbid anyone ever leaves their laptop logged in, because I will send them emails from their future selves, just giving them bits of advice about what will happen on future dates and what they need to do.
I
I've done that many a
hate
time.
computer practical jokes because who's the guy that gets called about them all the time?
Bill
Me.
Gates. Oh,
I would change people's screensavers and desktop to Yoda and say, don't leave your computer unlocked. Yoda's going to get you.
oh no, I would never ever do anything that pointed back to me.
Oh.
It was always their future selves that made these things happen. That's plausible deniability is very important. The running joke for a long time when I first got married was to phone my mother every April Fool's Day to tell her I was pregnant, or that we were
you were
having
pregnant.
or that we were having a baby. Yeah, I'm a big fan of Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. Forget about it.
It's way ahead of its time.
Do you remember when we were growing up, and this was a long time ago for some people, perhaps before you were born?
I was definitely growing up then.
They used to do April Fool's jokes in the newspaper. Yes, there were newspapers that came and were thrown to your door, and they were written on paper, not on a screen. In one of those newspapers, the paper had done an April Fool's joke telling people we're moving to decimal time. And people believed it.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. It's like, how are we going to do 10 seconds and an hour? And people couldn't get their heads around it. But I thought it was amazing.
In researching this dicey question, I did come across quite a few April Fool's facts. There are a couple of European countries that actually have days off on April Fool's Day, and it's quite a big thing. There are certain countries that will actually have front page news, which will, not the headline story, but definitely a story on the front page will be an April Fool's joke.
What countries?
European.
Yeah, like what? Ukraine?
I've been to the toilet.
Ukraine is actually
Is
a
it really?
holiday, which is why I was saying European countries.
no.
So yes, Ukraine has a holiday, and it's quite a large tradition in the UK.
So is it possible that
Ukraine.
Putin just got ahead of the game, really, and it was supposed to be
And
April
he's all
Fool's?
like,
It's just all gone wrong, and he's like, oh, I've got to deal with it now.
You wait till the armistice was called on Monday.
These are already called ceasefires.
Yeah.
April Fools!
Yeah. No.
Sorry
So-
about that hospital. April Fools!
Yeah. Yeah. We got to really stay away from that topic of conversation, don't we?
It'll be done and
playing on
dusted
all-
by the time this goes out.
It's playing on all of our minds, but we can't really talk about it just in case our new overlords hear us. And then we'll be probed. I mean, that's the problem when the country's ruled by someone who used to be in the KGB. So the Grand Convocation stands before you. You guys had just gone through the paparazzi element of the of walking into the Grand Lodge to get to the Pathfinder event of every year, where Pathfinders come from far and wide to talk to each other, to discuss their various exploits, to show each other artifacts, to show things that they've done, and talk about the achievements of the Pathfinder Society, and to share knowledge. If you didn't know this, the Pathfinder Society is predicated on the idea that there are things called Pathfinder Chronicles. So the Pathfinder Chronicles are a series of books that are recorded by Pathfinders. So when you are a Pathfinder, you record exactly what you do in a chronicle. That chronicle comes to the Grand Lodge, and then the Grand Lodge puts it into a book that becomes the Pathfinder Chronicles. So it's almost like a historical document of Pathfinders and of the way that Pathfinders are helping to shape the world and reclaim things that are done in the past. And that's why events like this are so important. So you guys have dressed up in your finest. You've got your best clothes on, your best attitudes. You've gone to deportment and etiquette classes. You've walked around with books on your heads. You've held a plum in your mouth so that you can talk the right way for a little while. And you have gone through all of the paparazzi to great cheers, because I believe that you, with the help of Flopsy using his spell power and Miles just looking Miles-like and shooting skirmish into the air. And then we've got Reg, who is using his diplomatic skills. The Reggie 3, as you have become known since your recent exploits, garnered great cheers on the way in, especially from the people of Absalom and the foreign quarter. As you went through this portal, the portal opened in front of you and you walk through the gates of the Grand Lodge, and you step through a portal into a bright, clear, sunny day. Imagine green grass, butterflies, that kind of sunrise that is just beautiful. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. Whatever has been done to the grounds of the Grand Lodge, whatever weather was outside or would be outside has been changed for this event, and the grounds of the Grand Lodge have been magically altered in some way, at least, to give you this day. The grounds of the Grand Lodge have certainly earned their name. Well-manicured path leads right up the middle away from this portal, with a series of exotic orange bushes on either side of them. And it ends with the steps that lead up to the vaulting series of 5 towers in which sits the Grand Hall. You know that those 5 towers are called Skyreach, and Skyreach can be seen from far and wide all over the city of Absalom, reaching the sky. It's a series of towers. It's often where initiates and people that join the Pathfinder Society might live and barracks, but there's also 5 towers. Many places within there are locked off or blocked, or people don't even know what is going on. The Great Hall within Skyreach is designed to allow large numbers of agents to gather in safety for assemblies and exchanges, and is comfortably appointed, but lacks any unifying theme of decor. An ornate fountain magically produces ice-cold water on one side, and an eclectic selection of chairs, rugs, divans, cushions, tables, stools, end tables, and hammocks provide numerous places to sit and spread out maps or goods or artifacts or relics. The largest table of the Great Hall is the Atlas Tableau, a mighty table that is 20 foot to a side that contains an illusionary map of the entire Inner Sea region and the lands around it. I kind of think of that one as a bit of Game of Thrones, when they were standing in King's Landing.
Yep.
They've got the big Game of Thrones, but this is almost 3 times the size of that, to the point where it's got illusions, and you can see weather patterns, and you can see things migrating, and you can see the ocean, and you can see, all the scar in there, and things are actually moving around on it as almost like it's a replication of real light. The ceiling of the room is also clad in an illusion, showing the very sky above the city as if it were night, with astrological markers identifying constellations and the locations of planets. The Decemvirate, which is the governing body of the Pathfinders. Now, the Decemvirate is a secret governing body. Nobody actually knows who the members of the Decemvirate are. So that is something that is held very closely, and even members of the high-ranking Pathfinder officials don't know who is part of the ruling body of the Decemvirate. But the Decemvirate can dismiss or reactivate this illusion with a command word, revealing an intricate skylight that lets in the light of day. So you can imagine that as you look up, it doesn't look like a vaulted ceiling at all. It just looks like a sky. And on this very day, you can see constellations as clear as day, or as clear as night. And you can see that under them, like as you look into them, if you focus a little bit, you can see them line up together, and you can see the names of the constellations, the name of the planets. It's almost like taking your phone out and using one of those star chart apps and looking above you. The Master of Swords, Marcos Farabellus, strides up to the large crowd and claps his hands together for attention. Welcome, Pathfinders, one and all, and welcome to our travelling venture captains stationed abroad, as well as our honoured guests. And he pauses to look around for everyone, and you can hear the murmurs in the crowd quieten down as he gets everybody's attention. I am Marcos Farabellus, and on behalf of the Decemvirate, I welcome you to the Pathfinder Society's annual Grand Convocation. Claps and cheers, and everybody's happy. I shall address all of the attendees later this afternoon to announce some of the Society's greatest accomplishments over the past years and our plans for the future. In the meantime, I invite you to stroll about the campus, meet with your peers, and enjoy all the sights of the Grand Lodge. We have set up numerous challenges and contests so that you can show off your skills or sharpen them if need be. I'll send around ushers when it's time to assemble for the speeches on the North Lawn. Enjoy! And with that, there is a cacophony of claps and loud cheers, and you can see multiple attendants walking around. And even as you're looking around, you can see that there are various little pods, almost like a fair, where people are attending little, you think they're first year Pathfinders maybe, and they're attending little stalls that have different kind of events that you can wander around and you can see. The grounds of this Pathfinder, the Grand Lodge, are huge. So they take about 10 minutes just to get from one section to another. So walking around the entire area just at this point is probably not something, but as you exit the Grand Hall, you exit through the southern door back to the pathway with the orange bushes next to you, and you can explore the southern end or you can explore the northern end, but you know that you'll get to the northern end for the speeches there. There are quite a few different events that you might want to attract or go towards, and these events are part of the Grand Lodge's convocation. As you stand there, you kind of, people start filling out, and people who obviously know each other are starting to clap hands, and you guys are standing there having not been here as honoured guests. You know, when you're a little unsure of an area and you kind of stand there for a bit, not looking like, other people have made a beeline to where the bar might be or the food might be or where they want to go, where their friends are. You guys are standing around for a moment when a man walks up to you, bald head with tattoos all over where his hair would be, marks upon his face. He looks like he is has an air of pomp about him almost. He's walking with a sense of greatness to him, and he looks a bit like this guy in this picture. So I actually do have a picture of him. He carries a staff, and upon that staff you can see a dragon's tooth that is standing on top, a giant dragon's tooth, if you will, that was carved. But he's in robes, and he looks like he is of the arcane, and he says, "Good morning. How you are Pathfinders?"
I rolled a bluff check when you started describing everything to try and hide how amazed Miles is at seeing all the stuff you were describing. I rolled a 3. With a -2 takes me to a 1.
So Miles is just, wow!
Yeah, he looked at Miles like, holy fucking shit, look at that ceiling.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh my God!
So yeah, that's kind of what he comes into.
Yeah. So this guy, you're Pathfinders?
No, not at the moment, sir. My name is Commander Miles McCarthy of the Reggie 3, Private of the Watch.
You are part of Private Watch?
No,
what
sir.
my esteemed colleague here is trying to say is that we are currently part of the Watch. We're here as special guests. This is our first time experiencing such a wonderful collection of like-minded people.
It is my first time too. I've never been here. My first time in Absalom, as a matter of fact.
Can I sense motive?
Yep.
That is a 19 on a sense motive.
Yeah, he seems like that's fairly genuine.
Okay.
I come from far overseas, in Osiriani, in the desert land.
Do you not be really good right now? Knowledge geography.
Knowledge geography is a very important knowledge skill to have.
Oh, yes, Siriani. Yes, I know all about a Siriani.
And he looks down at you, and one of you's probably got
How tall is he? Because I'm pretty tall.
He's just a human, but he looks down upon your persons, and one of you probably has your wayfinder still hanging about or tucked onto your belt or something, and he says, the wayfinder of the Pathfinder, I have two. And he pulls out, all he's got is the glyph. He doesn't have a wayfinder that comes part, and he says, you honorary members.
Yes, I believe we are. We've been doing a bit of help with them. We've partnered up with one of their dear members, and we've done some good for the city, and they've made us honorary members.
Wonderful, wonderful. And he kind of claps a little bit, and he's, my word, I was told to be best behave. My name is Amriel Thask. And he bends from the waist and almost touching the floor. He bends so low, and he says, I am pleased to make acquaintances of people.
Hello, good Amriel. Welcome. Do you know where the bar is or the food?
I have seen there, and he looks at you kind of, and he's trying to answer, but he kind of looks.
Hold on, excuse me, you boy. Hot pockets? You got hot pockets in the
Garçon.
And what did you do to acquire such a great invitation to these lands? To this party?
I study the dragon. Dragons are very important creatures for the world, Mr.
Miles McCarthy at your service.
Oh, that's right, private.
What dragons? Yes, we have had a run-in with a dragon ourselves.
You have had a run-in with dragon. Please
yes,
tell me, and your friends?
Yes, Flops. Richie, can you go get Flopsy?
You've got to go get the bloody food yourself.
Flopsy,
Jeepers.
Can you get out that dragon claw that we cut off that dragon?
Yeah. I've got it in here somewhere. Hold on a second. No. That's a 10-foot ladder. No. Yeah. Here.
Grognard.
For Grognard.
Here it is. Here's the claw that we found. This was a... Hi. You still here? Good.
Yes, our friend here is a studier of dragons.
Dragons, you say?
And I was telling him we've had a run-in with dragons, cut off a claw, and I thought I'd try.
This very claw in my hands. Do you know what it is?
He looks at you, and his eyes first widen as he looks at the claw, and then you can see a sadness almost fall over his eyes. And say, you cut this off of such a noble creature.
Well, it was more a matter of it doing it self more than anything, but yes.
May I see it?
Yes, you can.
I can touch.
You may.
And he reaches out and he grabs it.
It's quite precious to me. Please be gentle.
And he looks at it. And the claw itself is palm-sized. It's quite a large nail from a dragon. And this from Black Dragon?
Yes, what else can you tell me about it?
Very big.
Very big.
And you say you cut this off a dragon?
Well, I said
we didn't cut it off.
We didn't cut it off. It kind of
we cut it off a dragon. Yes, that's exactly what we did.
It came at us and it ended up losing its claw. It's kind of it's a story.
I would love to hear stories of dragons. Is why I am here, and to share knowledge of dragons. I have meetings later with people I would like to share, but. Perhaps I could, do you say, accompany you, and we could enjoy festivities. Yes, and he hands back the claw to you, Flopsy.
It's getting a bit, yeah.
He takes a claw. And he walks
yeah. Excuse me.
Sounds like a great idea.
If you want to hang about. Sure, I'm going to get some drinks and a
Reggie,
bite to eat.
Sorry. You're going to get food?
I'm trying to find it. Bloody the servers won't bring it. You've got to go find the bloody bar wherever it is.
Reggie, I will beat you in any of these challenges that you want to take me on in.
Sure. How about a drinking challenge?
Sure. Any of them.
Eating challenge?
I bet you beat him in limbo.
I'm just saying we can do them. We can do eating and drinking at any time. I'm more interested in these skills.
Why don't we mosey on and see what we can find, and hopefully there's a bar or something to eat on the way.
Yeah, there are definitely servers walking around with platters of food and drink and things for you to eat. There's also large tables that you can go to and those kinds of things. So it is plentiful, but I get that Flopsy would be upset that nobody's handing him specifically
That's right.
things he wants.
Where
when he
is
wants
my
them.
thing now?
Yeah.
Amriel, you seem like a man of
Oh, yes.
knowledge. What
I,
do you have some kind of arcane or religious power about you?
I study the dragon.
I'm gonna. How about we tell our story? Well, it's good practice before we tell it to everyone else.
Yeah, but why would we waste our time with this guy?
He might have. He studies dragons. He might have some interesting, helpful information.
Go and tell the story.
And I start and I tell it as detailed from the beginning of basically the whole podcast.
I was a beet farmer.
Yes, I was born in the. If we go past the map, I point out if is my area on the map.
Yeah, the whole
Yeah.
world's on the
So
map.
I point out
you
where
go
I came
to the
from.
Manor Wastes where you
Yep.
were. And
I live in this small farm around about here. And I'd go through everything from getting run out of town and as slowly as it till we just start talking and as we walk to find the nearest. I want to take it as long as possible.
so he would be attentive for a period of time, and then you talked about the dragon, and he becomes more attentive, and then you stop talking about a dragon, and he becomes less attentive, and then eventually he starts looking for a tankard, and he takes some mead, and he starts to drink the mead, and he starts to start nodding, and just sense motive for me.
Does he start to
It's like How I Met Your Mother.
sorry, does he pay any interest when we talk about the portals?
Oh, yeah. Do you go into that kind of
Is
detail?
that what you're talking about? You said everything from the podcast from the beginning.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. No, not a particular interesting. And then, but the dragons, he's perked his ears. But what was your sense motives?
21.
4.
6.
Reg, he's being bored shitless. So after that dragon where you describe that one encounter that you've had with an actual dragon, he perks up for about the next 2 minutes, and then when there's no talk about that, he tries to vie the conversation back to it. But when it doesn't come back to dragons, he kind of loses a little bit of interest, and you see him start to look around at what other people are doing, and you definitely get the idea that he has lost interest in this conversation, especially when you're talking about your very in-depth night as part of the night watch.
So Reg cuts in. So tell me, how is it your ear then? How have you ended up getting invited along? I'm sure I heard you say earlier that this is your first one as well.
Yes, I was given an honorary Pathfinder. I became, how do you say, agent of a dragon?
Agent of a dragon.
You are an agent of a dragon.
I sometimes like to speak to the dragons, and the druids ask me to relay some.
Are you a
things.
druid?
And then I went to do that, and then I talked to the dragon, and we became friends. And then the druids had some problems. I asked the dragon to stop, and the dragon stops. And then one of the druids just was Pathfinder, and then talked to me and gave me this and said, "Come to the convocation and talk to people about the dragons."
You work for a dragon.
I don't work for the dragon. I guess I am friends with the dragon would be best.
What kind of dragon?
A green one.
Okay, sense motive.
Knowledge, whatever. Dragons.
14 on a sense. 16 on a sense motive.
Yeah, you think he's telling the truth.
I think he's telling the truth.
Yeah, you think
Not-
that everything that's coming out, he doesn't seem to have any deception in the way that he's speaking.
Knowledge Arcana is of dragons.
Yep.
Ooh. 29.
Yeah, there are green dragons.
Are
in the
they
world.
good, evil, bad?
Green dragons?
Yeah, what do I know about green dragons?
Green dragons have moments. So green dragons can sometimes be quite envious and can be a little malicious at times. But yeah, obviously they were doing something wrong, and he's helped talk about them. And he doesn't give you too many details. he's very broad strokes in his conversation, and you're not sure whether that's just because of the way his grasp of the language, or whether or not it's because he's just waiting before he can tell his story properly to somebody. He certainly is not talking about beats and the minutiae that your story. It's almost polar opposites in the versions of stories.
Our podcast is not a minutia. It's fantastic entertainment.
What is the podcast?
Right, so I've heard that story that Miles is telling because I was in it, and your story seems quick and to the point. Thank you. I'm going over here to check out what's over here.
And that's a nice way of breaching through. The grounds of the Grand Lodge belie its more exotic nature, giving the real reason why it's situated in the foreign quarter. The lodge merely resides in Absalom, and it really isn't part of Absalom itself. Like you guys have often said, I wonder if the Pathfinders will be part of this, and I wonder if that. But the Pathfinder Lodge itself, and this is the first time you're really spending some time in here seeing how it goes, other than Saloni's funeral. That was really the only other time you've been in the grounds, but you really do see just how it's a myriad of cultures that are blended with each other and with things that are exotic in the very extreme. And it's not really a representation. You could look around and go, I'm not even in Absalom once you're past the walls. The Pathfinders seem to cater for all cultures. The more exotic and rare, probably the better, especially the fauna and flora that you can see around here. As part of the convocation, there's a series of contests which is scattered throughout the grounds to challenge and test both the experienced and novice Pathfinders alike. These contests have been designed to test a range of skills and abilities, as the Pathfinders know their ranks are made up from a large variety of races and classes. And this is where definitely Amriel starts to turn his attentions towards some of these contests, and you can see the din of excitement around some of them. And much like a fair or a fete, there's large groups around each one of these. So you think given where it is, and now that you spent a little bit of time talking, you probably could enter about 2 of these contests before, it's going to take a fair bit of time.
Which two?
There, as you're walking around the grounds, you can see a variety of them. So if you take the time to just sort of scan and have a look around, or even asking one of the attendants, they can tell you that there's a contest of animal taming, there's a contest of storytelling, there's a contest of a law symposium where people debate things. There's an obstacle course. There's a sleuthing reward where it's about being sneaky, or a trap mastering reward. There's even a weightlifting contest that's out there.
Emriel, see the weightlifting, you be dragging some things around there.
Oh, it's this joke. Ha ha ha. Very funny.
Bet you I can lift more than you, Reggie.
Yeah, you probably could, but I bet you I can get around that obstacle course quicker than you can.
Yeah.
Go on then.
So you can line up, and again, it's like, I guess, when you go to a theme park and you have to line up for a little while, and different varied levels of Pathfinders have different types of wayfinders and glyphs of denoting their power or status within the Pathfinder Society. So you are mixing with people who are genuinely have face down black dragons, as well as pure novices. So obviously the things get a bit different no matter where you are, and you're ushered towards some stations that are more befitting your level in life.
Which one do you want to do first?
Oh, I only want to do the...
I'll take you on in both. I don't
do
mind.
the obstacle course. I have the feeling that'll be an acrobatics check or two going on there, right?
So Flopsy's not going to do any of those contests, but he's going to
Cheer me on.
get himself some food and then start discussing with people what they think what's going on, and trying to gather some information as he goes.
Mm-hmm. You feel like the best way to gather information would be around the crowds, because
standing
all
and cheering
the crowds
on,
have
talking about
gone
stuff.
through. So I'm just letting you know now. You guys might not know this, but we have just embarked on a Pathfinder Society scenario that is called The Siege of Serpents. Now, you don't know why it's called The Siege of Serpents, but this was written by Jim Groves, and this is actually a Pathfinder Society one-shot module that leads into quite a few that I'm happy to explore. But it's it's definitely a Pathfinder society. So I know that Brett, you've been Pathfinder society before, and Luke, you've done a one shot with me before, I think.
Yep.
But yeah, we're heading towards that kind of.
I think I remember this module from Dragon 142 where it was very Gygaxian.
You're such a Tucker's kobold.
I'll untuck in a sec.
So for those of you that would like to join parts of the grand convocation and test your skills against other or each other, which ones would you like to? So Reggie and Miles, you've kind
I want
of
to go to the
talked
obstacle
about.
course. Yep.
So you're both heading towards the obstacle course. Is that correct?
Yep. I'm hoping it's other things rather than just speed.
Right, if it's speed, you've won.
Oh, yeah, true. Other things other than
Are you on
agility.
the quiet trying to contest the leadership of the Reggie 3?
I thought you already said I was commander.
I never
Miles
said
is-
you were commander. You've introduced yourself
No,
as commander.
you said you could be commander
I
of the
did.
Reggie. Oh, well, he did. There we go.
Because I didn't care.
Someone said it, so that's it.
As long as the all the attention's pointed not at Flopsy,
Yep.
that's fine.
Miles heard he's the commander. That's all he heard.
He's a co-man. So you guys walk down to the area where the obstacle course, an obstacle course designed to test the agility, is set up near the training grounds. You see training dummies and little targets and those kinds of things where Pathfinders can compete in a timed trial to be the quickest one through a very particular course. A large chalkboard, much like those of you who watch Top Gear, is set up with Pathfinder's names upon the board, and it lists the best times and the participants. People stop and they're watching these. It's a very spectator. It's very friendly. People aren't really here to be assholes to each other.
Did you hear
Everyone's
that?
very supportive of everything that's going on. So you line up and eventually it becomes your turn to complete the obstacle course. Now, rather than jump through every twist and turn of this, the obstacle course is, and Lindsay, you're going to love this, is essentially a roll-off. So you can use either your acrobatics or dexterity skill in order to compete with the obstacle course
Well, the
as
same.
it's set. So if you have acrobatics or dexterity, all you need to do right now is tell me whether you pass. Now, I have a DC that tells me whether or not you pass this obstacle course, and depending on how much you beat or fail, certain things
So
are going to happen.
Is there anyone having fun with, spells?
With spells,
While they're doing it.
not for this, no. No, because it's an obstacle course, people are very much using their innate abilities.
Come on, Maria, let's watch these two worm their way through this course.
I'm going to lose this. Do you know why I'm going to lose this?
Dice.
Yeah. Because my modifier for acrobatics is
But
crazy
they're your
good.
new dice.
Flopsy, do people know when I cast Misfortune?
Yes, they can feel it upon them, for sure.
But can anyone else know?
I will know, Miles. I will know.
Look, remember the Pathfinders are supposed to be, fingers, bunny ears, honourable.
Very well, very well. Best of luck.
I'm not touching that. Put your hand away.
Wow, how rude of you. God doesn't even shake before a
You're
friendly
going to hex
bastard.
me. If I touch you, you're going to hex me.
Amarillo, it's
I
hot
can
out here.
hex you without.
Go get some of
touching
that
you.
iced wine. Come on, watch these two run through.
Right, what do you want? Acrobatics?
Acrobatics or dexterity, your choice. So you each line up in front of the obstacle course in front of you. You see it. I imagine something along the same lines like in The Witcher where Ciri's going through a series, or well, is it even A Knight's Tale? There's an obstacle course with sandbags that fly down and spinny things that you have to duck and weave and balancing rods and things you have to jump over and go under and all that kind of stuff, that physical stuff that we
So you can use dex and I can use acrobatics, yeah? It's a choice
They're
of.
both the same for me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're either using dexterity, even dexterity or acrobatics. So
Gee.
you line up. Who's going to go first?
Probably him.
I've rolled.
Okay. Reggie, you line up on the line and a bell rings to signal that you are going to start your acrobatics. You start going through the whole thing. What did you get for your Was it acrobatics or
I used
dexterity?
acrobatics. I
Okay,
used
and what did you get?
You got the dice roll or
Yep.
the grand total?
The whole thing.
The whole thing was 26.
On a 26, you see Reggie deftly walk through the entire of the obstacle course, get right to the end without incident. As a matter of fact, Reggie posts one of the better times.
One roll. Is that all it was?
Exactly. I told you you'd love it. It's a roller.
Reginald.
It's a roller.
Reginald.
Didn't even break
of
a
the
sweat.
three. Reginald. Reginald.
Reginald.
Just making this up, I've heard of a thing called football where they chant. I think it might be good here.
Football.
Foosball.
Football is life.
Foosball.
And then it's time for Miles to stand up. Miles stands up at the line. The bell dings.
I'm going off the first roll that I rolled when I was rolling with him, thinking we're going to have multiple rolls, but it's not. So that's a 6.
Miles gets hit by a sandbag almost immediately and then flies to the floor. And just before hitting the floor, there's a levitational field. But
Before even, as soon as I start falling, Featherfall kicks in automatically.
and Featherfall kicks in automatically. Immediately afterwards, people start to cheer and jeer almost against you, Miles. But Reggie, people start coming around and they start talking to you about how good things are and how amazing things. And a group of men take you away for a little while. They're also part of the group of acrobats who are on the list and the people that are around you. And they say, "Let's do this one more time." And so they line you up again at this acrobatics course and they're talking to you the whole time. There's a real congenial kind of attitude. Can you just make another roll?
I'm just going to...
You're going to hex me now, are you?
I'm going to give you a pat on the back and give you guidance.
Guidance.
People frown upon cheaters.
Oh, how's that cheating?
That's
He's
not
here.
fair.
He's there.
That's-
He's bloody everywhere. He's Reginald.
Who's eating all the pies, Reginald?
Yeah, 13 this time.
On a 13, you see that the obstacle course, whatever they did between the first time and this time, the obstacle course has gotten the things spin faster. They swing faster. They're swinging harder, and you get knocked off the obstacle course about halfway through. You make a decent go of it, but it's just not enough.
Can I have another go?
However, because you did successfully get your name on the board and you remain on the board in the top area, you are granted a boon that you can use at any point during the course of the grand convocation.
Oh, there's a piece of paper being handed from Justin to Luke.
It says, "I love you, kissy face."
Please be my grognard.
That's pretty good.
Okay. Do you want to share it with everyone or are you going to keep it to yourself until?
No, shall I share it? I'll share it. Obstacle course reward, a +2 competence bonus on one dexterity-based skill check attempted during the adventure.
Well done.
And as you're talking to the men that got you up, you also hear a piece of information. Pick one of these.
Justin's fanning some cards now and handing them out to Luke like a bad trailer park magician.
Luke, show me a card.
Luke's picked one like
And much like the older sister in on the Umbrella Academy, you hear a rumor.
Next Generation is the title on this particular
it's
piece of
Picard,
paper.
it's not Kirk.
That's right, TNG. Can I read this now?
Yeah.
Yep. The Society's success at neuroscience. Is that right? Have I said
Sure.
that right? Okay, sure. Okay. And more recently at the Sky Citadel, Jormurden has captured the imaginations of a new crop of Pathfinders who see the Society as a potential force for good, as well as scholarship. The halls of the quadrangle have not been so full in many years.
Wow.
Okay, so those of you that want to hear some information. So you know Reggie's heard of this, and this is a rumor that Reggie comes out with, and all of you are there as he says, "Look, I heard this thing they were talking about. If you want to make a knowledge history check or a knowledge geography check."
That's twice now. We had a conversation about knowledge skills, and I was saying which ones have you got because I'm going to put some skill points when I leveled up. And I said, which ones are worth bothering with? And we came to the conclusion that knowledge geography was a waste of time. And that's twice.
You know what I would have said after that?
What?
History. Guess what the two skills I don't have?
I have history.
Oh, good.
21 on history.
Oh, well done, well done.
Okay,
well
that's
done.
good.
That's hilarious.
I read a lot of old books.
Anyone else?
I don't have
I'm
it.
untrained for that. So
Okay, so on 21 knowledge history, so the two names that you heard then, Miles, they ring a bell. Neurocyan, which is a settlement of Imiday near the Scar, and that settlement was designed to hold back the demons that come ripping through the Scar of the world and try to get into the world of Galorian. There is a settlement of Imiday that was overrun by demons and hellspawn that recently was reclaimed by the Pathfinder Society. So that's what they're talking about there with their ability in Neurocyan. Jormungandr comes to your mind as well. Jormungandr is one of the 7 sky citadels of the dwarves that fly above the world of Galorian. Jormungandr is a sky citadel that has recently been reclaimed, and the Pathfinders are taking credit is the story of that for the reclamation of
reclaimed
Jormungandr.
from what? Has it just been empty up there?
Yeah, so the Sky Citadels, because the dwarves basically took to the skies, they were underground, they took to the skies, they were trying to escape, and the Sky Citadels are basically their floating fortresses. Some of them were overtaken by demons, some of them overtaken by orcs, some
Cloud
of them,
giant.
of giants. And many of the Sky Citadels have been lost. I think only 3 of them are still in the hands of the dwarves at this point in time.
Miles, because he always gets shown up by Flopsy, he's going to put an air of pompous on himself. Oh, I'm surprised you haven't heard about this, Flopsy. It's like, the Jormungandr is one of the sky fortresses of the dwarves. It's recently been taken over again by the things, and that the Scion is from a city that, what Justin said.
What was it? The name of the place?
I think it was called Jormungandr. Jormungandr is what I think I've heard it be called, the Sky Citadel.
Do you know anything about that, Emriel?
About the same as the Private Miles?
Private Miles, yes. Commander Miles, whatever you
Hey, Miles, Victor says what?
It's only funny if
Shouldn't
you've
it be a whale
seen...
sphincter system?
Shall we go try the lifting contest now, Reg?
Yeah, sure. Let's have a go. Come on. I could do it with another boon.
Would you like me to go through all of them as well? Or are you... so again, animal taming, boasting, lore, sleuthing, trap mastery, and weightlifting are the ones that are in your immediate vicinity that you could probably
Literally,
get
out
done
of
soon.
all of them, weightlifting, I think, is the only one I could do.
Flopsy's ears prick up at law,
Mhm.
and look at Amriel go, should we test our knowledge in the law competition?
I could, sure.
If nothing else, we'll learn a little bit, won't we?
We could learn a lot. We could listen to the people, and it'll
I
be
suppose law, we're talking law as in, for some reason I was thinking,
good. Your daughter?
yeah, I should have been thinking that. But no, I was thinking like legal.
Law. That's what he said. Or he said lore.
I think he means law.
Lore.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Which is, I could probably do okay with history. But yeah.
All right. So, given that you guys have just done that, you go off to actually, I would assume maybe you'd stick with Flopsy and maybe Amriel.
We'll stay together.
Yeah, and so
Never split the party.
Flopsy and Amriel disappear into the Law Symposium.
Short for simple. It's a posium of simples.
An outdoor lecture area has been erected in the quadrangle. The agents here do not literally compete in this event, but provide a meaningful contribution to the panel discussion, which garners the attention of accolades from fellow scholars. So essentially, if you think about it, it's like a table of wisdom that is set out the front with people. And the idea is that you're having some type of debate or some kind of scholarly discussion with each other while everybody listens to this scholarly discussion, almost like it's a lecture at a university or something along those lines.
A table of wisdom where everyone brings a plate, if you will.
Everyone can bring a plate. Now, Brett, I'm going to allow you to roll a D100, please, because the percentile chance of this determines the very topic that you have entered into.
37.
37.
Number 37.
You're going to love this. 37, the topic at this point in time, not later in the day, and I'll tell you the different
it's
topics
geography.
later, is the connection of people and the land.
Oh, no.
So it is an entire symposium about how different cultures rely on their land and how they migrate and their patterns and how the land and the culture are symbiotic in their nature with each other. You can use other knowledges. If you could think of a knowledge that might give you an insight in this, but you've got to be able to convince me as well as everybody else that that is a knowledge and that you can make a viable contribution to this discussion. At the end of this, I'll tell you some of the other topics that you could have been part of.
Cool. I'm veering towards a knowledge nature to understand the land and how it might be applicable in human settlement and the human impact of that.
Okay. So,
Amriel,
yes,
are you joining this conversation or will you wait for another?
I can join the conversation. I just don't know what my own skills are yet. I'm looking for them in my. Oh wait, I have a sheet. You say that, and Amriel looks at you, and you can see, all the tattoos that he's got over his face and his head are just a one big sweat patch start to fall down. Yes, I will get in front of. Remember, Osiriani is my first language. I do not know. The translation will be bad.
Must be a lot of nature in that desert landscape that you live in.
All right. So, Flopsy, how are you going to, what's your tack here? Now, I don't expect you to use specifics, but you're going to be used knowledge nature to do what?
Join the discussion at the table about how humans interact with the land.
Yep.
And talk about how stupid humans are all of the time. And if you just left the land to flourish, it would be much better off than if you intercede on its behalf.
Okay. Just roll your skill check for me. So roll your knowledge check.
I did.
Yes?
26.
Oh, even using the incorrect type of knowledge, most of these guys are relying on geographical, and their knowledge of geography tells them about civilizations and how, like in our world, it would be how maybe the Inuit people are using the migration patterns in the skies and blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. But even with that, people, very good point. He makes excellent points about this. And then Amriel gets up to talk. And Amriel seems to stutter very much around the idea that it is about arcane and the dragons are the ones that formed everything. Dragons are at the center of everything. If you don't have a dragon, then you can't have a place and you can't have the people. We all come from dragons. We know the dragons are the first people that were made first. The gods made the dragons. And he just harps on about dragons and fails dismally. You're invited to join a second symposium very soon afterwards. Can you just roll another percentile chance, please, Flopsy?
I always get confused on the double zeros.
That's a 9.
A 9.
A 9. This seems right up your alley, and even as they say it, Amriel listens to the next topic as it changes, and you see him become very crestfallen because his use of his knowledge of arcane arts would have come very much in handy in a topic called the magical properties of materials.
Ah, yes, material properties of hold magic, and Flopsy will use the dragon claw and pull out magic items and explain that and say, if you could see magic, and most of you can, and here we go, and the glows are like this, and they interact like this, and actually, if you try hard enough, you can break those magical properties and reform them. 29.
29. people are astounded by your knowledge. You've blown people away. You're invited to other scholars' discussions. People say, we must catch up and have a conversation at some point. What was your name?
In scholarly forms, I'm Jarty Spinderstrike.
Oh, Jarty Spinderstrike.
My
Wonderful.
nom de
wonderful.
plume is Flopsy.
Okay, Jarty. We'll have a wonderful discussion. Do you like tea? Do you like
I do like tea. I
Wonderful,
also
wonderful.
like beer and wine.
beer and wine are very good. We have heard of a new thing called the automated hot pocket, and we are
Are you talking about the hot pocket?
Yeah, something along those lines, where you get a hot pocket and through the arcane arts, and they describe a hot pocket.
Trademark Flopsy.
That was you. And there's a lot of conjecture. Flopsy, you too have earned yourself a couple of boons to use at the convocation. Could you please take this card here?
I don't stand up for many people, Justin.
That was Peng, guys. The whole exchange was great.
So yes, in your discussions, you first and foremost you garner a reward to be able to be used at the convocation at any point in time, but also you hear a rumor.
A foreign quarter councilman, Lord Omrus of House Archiman, has registered some concern about the grand convocation with Absalom's Grand Council. Lord Omrus feels that the Pathfinder Society is a weirdness magnet that brings more trouble to the city than good. He fears that the Pathfinder Convention is only going to exacerbate and concentrate the mischief that surrounds the society, so he has requested that the District Guard keep close tabs on the Grand Lodge for the next week. The Decemvirate, is that right? Decemvirate has been in contact with Lord Omrus and assured him that all will be well.
Yeah, so people are talking, yes, Lord Omrus is trying to bring us down, Pathfinders. Pathfinders unite, yes, Pathfinders are wonderful people, but Lord Omrus says we're dangerous, not dangerous.
Weird. He must be a weirdo. We're definitely not. Now, where's those hot pockets?
And you were also granted a boon.
I did get a boon. I get a Law Symposium reward, which is a +2 competence bonus. Never before has Flopsy been competent. On one linguistics or knowledge check attempted during this adventure.
Which brings us back to the weightlifting conference. Yeah, you walk around and there's a lot of guys who are flexing, who are, shaved. I assume that most of the guys have shaved heads with a moustache that's twirled on the outside, and they're wearing some kind of leopard print underwear, like an oldie-timey, they're lifting up a bar with balls on the end of it that say like 100 pounds or whatever. So you walk over to the weightlifting competition, and again, the weightlifting competition, there are small people, there are large people, there are all the way in between. So halflings especially are given a bit of a head start. So smaller folk are actually given a smaller set of weights because they know that they are they.
Look at this. Reggie should do well. He doesn't have as high to lift these
Yeah,
things.
they can't carry as much.
Sizists.
So people basically compete here to see who can lift the heavier weights. If gnomes, halflings, and other small participants may want to, they can opt for a handicap. So they can say, look, because of our size, obviously, if we were the right size, we would be able to. And that handicap is actually, they will bolster them up to medium size for this event. And you will be able to lift exactly the same as other people, so that there's no difference in size. And even large creatures that are here are brought back to medium size as well. Okay.
Hold my coat, Reggie.
Sure thing.
It's the first time I've never heard Miles talk smack about something.
Well, now everyone else has a boon. He's shitting himself that he's not going to get one.
Are you actually going to involve yourself in this as well, Reg?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
He's going to roll up his sleeves. Go first.
It's the
I can't,
quiet-
you could,
It is
no
the
joke. Hang on,
quietest.
no joke. You could tell me any
know.
number when I look at that dice because I cannot read that dice.
Oh, yeah. So it's a natty 20.
Yeah, I don't even
Judging
know what
by
number
your
that
face,
actually is.
I think you failed your bluff check.
Total 7.
Total of 7.
Yes.
Okay, Miles goes down and something happens in his hamstring. Just you hear it Doing, and his hamstring just pops and he kind of limps off the stage. Like, and then like gets off and somebody does some massaging. Mr. Miyagi comes up, claps his hands together.
Oh, I thought you were going to give him a chance to meet a lady then. That'd have been nice.
And
Lay
then-
hands.
Yeah. Okay, Reg, if you're doing the same.
So Reg's just going to go for the normal set that he just did. I'm not going to take any of this size adjustments.
Okay.
I'm going to just go for a set that's exactly the same as what he had.
Okay.
He didn't get any concessions or
No.
things because I was small running through the obstacle course.
Yep.
He had to run through the same obstacle course with no concessions, so I'm not going to take any
Well,
concessions.
you are slower than a medium creature, so that's the
But you get
handicap.
some bonus
of
to
the,
dex.
Yeah, but I get bonuses all over the place for that, for being small.
I
So,
know.
all right, here we go. Strength. 16 total.
Miles starts drinking.
Reggie moves up to the bar. He puts both of his hands. He dips his hands in the chalk that's just next to it, like a weightlifter. He comes up. He jeers the crowd up. He bends down to grab the bar in deadlift stance, and he lifts with all of his might. And the bar raises about a centimeter before he drops it back on the floor unsuccessfully. This tournament has gotten the best of both of you. Everyone's like, yeah, good try. And as you get off, people are handing you some drinks and some, there's some consolation prizes and some, that kind of stuff. But yeah, people quickly turn their attention to the victors and start talking to them and gathering around them and leaving you to your own devices.
Well done, gentlemen. You did quite well, even though you're a bitter disappointment. We should move on.
Sleep strike.
What are the other competitions?
The last couple of competitions are there's something around animal taming, something around storytelling, sleuthing, and trap mastery.
Sleuthing.
Like being sneaky.
Ooh.
Or being something to do with being a sleuth. A detective is also called a sleuth.
On all those things, the best I can get bonuses is a 1.
Would sleuthing involve a stealth check?
You're not sure. You'd have to go and check
out
it out.
the sleuthing. Let's
So
check
you
it out.
line
Yeah,
up
check
for
it out.
it?
Yeah, go on, why not?
You walk into the main lecture hall of one of the eastern outbuildings where several agents have set up a fake crime scene.
Oh,
The audience watches as each Pathfinder is led into the middle of the scene and can remove his or her blindfold, has 2 minutes in which to examine the scene before replacing the blindfold, and then must describe from memory every single one of the clues and forensic pieces of evidence that you noticed to the audience and to the event organizer. Again, all of you can take part of this if you like.
sure.
Yeah, I'm in.
Why not? Come on. Let's go, Ariel.
So things that you might want to use. So you could possibly use a heal skill here because there's, an idea of a dead body on the floor. You could use perception. You might even want to use survival. Or if you have some other kind of idea that you can think of.
Can you use spells?
No, people are not using magic to make themselves any better for this kind of stuff.
I'll use perception. Reg will use perception for this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, are all three of you taking part in this?
Sure. Can I just do an intelligence check?
You can, if you like. So, we might start. Who would like to go first? Oh, you know what? I've already described exactly what happens to you. Let's do this one as an old-fashioned Lindsay roll-off. So we're going to get there. Now, remember, it's not just about each other. There is also a DC you have to beat.
What is that? No. Oh, fucking hell.
Each of
I
you-
just glanced into Brett's tray.
That's why he's looking like he's just won a disco.
Smug as
Yeah,
shit.
that's right. That's right. So we're not even going to start with him.
Let him out, boys. Go on.
Lindsay, Miles has had a pretty bad day today. Let's see if it gets any better. What skill are you using and what did you roll?
Oh, was that for that?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I'm using intelligence. I rolled a 7.
Okay.
So my total is 11.
Interesting. What about you, Reg?
Reg used perception, rolled a 9, which means I've got 19 in total.
Okay. And you, Flopsy?
Flopsy also used perception. He has a +9 on perception, so he got 29.
Both of you, Flopsy and Reg, are taken into the next round of this tournament. Miles, you're left behind, but you're just to rub salt in your wounds. You're left behind because when you use just a generic ability score, you missed out by 1.
Oh,
Had you rolled a 12,
I actually should have used perception because I forgot I have my familiar back.
what would your view of perception been?
6 plus 7, so 13.
You still wouldn't have made it. So, because skills are a different DC than ability scores. So ability scores are a little lower than skills just because of the way that they work. So the two of you are taken into the next area. This time, as well as being blindfolded, the room is darkened. The blindfold is taken off. Lights are put on, immediately blinding even those of you with dark vision for a moment. As part of your time, you have to blink out. You have to look around, making the DC for this perception check or for this skill check a little bit harder. As reigning victor, Flopsy, what'd you get?
He perceives at 26.
Oh, and Reg?
23 for Reg.
23. You are both successful. However, it is Flopsy who is taken away by a group of sleuthers, a group of people who hear some rumors. But you both managed to get yourself a sleuthing reward.
Ooh. So how many have you got there?
I got 1 so far, 2 in total now.
2 in total. I've got 2. What do you got there?
That's cold.
As you guys leave, you come out, find Miles not there, and you go looking for him, and he's in the animal handling pen yelling at a cow.
That's for you. That's for you. And you can take one of these. And Flopsy. What? Take 2.
Take 2?
Yeah. So because Flopsy, you have been so overwhelmingly, like people don't realize that, at your level, they're like, oh, that's, they're absolutely astounded by your powers of observation.
What are you saying at my level?
And you actually hear 2 rumors.
The first rumor is strange artifact. The principal discovery of the sky citadel of Jormungandr has been moved to a strange chamber with no corners along the exterior walls, floor, and ceiling. This is to help shield it from strange otherworldly entities. This year's keynote address is allegedly about the artifact discovered in Jormungandr, the Sky Key. Well, there's a bit about Jormungandr today, isn't there? Future agendas is the other thing I heard. A large number of venture captains posted abroad have made a concerted effort to attend the grand convocation this year. There is speculation that there are interesting plans for the year ahead, and that they're jockeying for consideration from the from the Christmas for it.
And you both received a reward. Luke, what was the boon that you received?
So the boon is a sleuthing reward, so a +2 competence bonus on 1 heal, perception, or survival check attempt during the adventure.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
That's a good one.
It's a good one.
Yep, because I can use that for the heal. That would be pretty helpful for the heal if necessary. Or
a perception comes in handy.
All the time.
The murmurs and the cheers of the crowd are tremendous. People are having so much fun. They're drinking, they're talking, everywhere taking part in festivities and enjoying themselves. You hear a small whistle.
Is it the conch?
That gets louder and louder as a bang of a lighted signal flashes and a voice rings through the grounds for all to hear.
Pathfinders, please get settled. All campus-wide events will be closing soon. All venture captains and field agents are invited together on the North Lawn for refreshments and the keynote address in several minutes.
There is just enough time for one more event, which maybe Miles might be able to redeem himself next week.
Doubt it. Highly doubt it. Yelling at
Lines of
cows.
the gap.
How? I don't even understand how you were rolling so badly. Maybe next week the rolls will be with you.
Maybe.
And you too will get a rumor and some type of boon.